Good day, I'm Freudian Revolution. So as I mentioned, the first thing I'm going to talk about Freudian Revolution. As you can see in this picture, this man is behind this revolution named Sigmund Freud. Now let's know more about the details about Sigmund Freud. He has existed in 1856 up to 1939, and he was the founding father of psychoanalysis, a method for treating mental illness, and also a theory which explains human behavior. According to Freud, he believes that in our childhood have great influence in our adulthood, shaping our personality. So next slide is May 6, 1856. So Sigmund Freud was born in Freiburgstown, Czech Republic. Next is 1881. He graduated from Medical Faculty, University of Vienna. Next, 1896, Sigmund Freud was officially recognized. 1900, he released Interpretation of Dreams. And lastly, in September 23, 1939, Freud passed away in Hampstead House. Next slide, overview of psychoanalysis. So, the overview of psychoanalysis, it was developed by Sigmund Freud and was the first form of psychotherapy. It was the dominant therapeutic technique in the early 20th century, but it has since won significantly in popularity. The next slide is the view of human nature. First is the deterministic, which means that position associated particularly with Sigmund Freud that the mental psych events do not occur by chance but always have an underlying cause that can be uncovered by analysis. Perhaps the single most representative concepts of psychoanalysis is that of psychological determinism. By this mean a fundamental belief that human behavior, consciousness, and experience are determined or explainable. Next, in number 2 is human as energy system. Freud believed that people continuously generate psych energy, but only a certain amount is available for use at any point in time. This psych energy is then used by the three components of personality: the ID, the ego, and the superego. Next slide, level of mental life. Freud delineated the mind in distinct levels, each with their own roles and function. The three levels of mind are: number 1 is unconscious. Unconscious is a reservoir of feelings, thoughts, urges, and memories that are outside of our conscious awareness. The unconscious contains contents that are unacceptable or unpleasant, such as feelings of pain, anxiety, or conflicts. Number 2, preconscious. Preconscious consists of anything that could potentially be brought into the conscious mind. And number 3, conscious. So conscious contains all of the thoughts, memories, feelings, and wishes of which we are aware at any given moment. This is the aspect of our mental processing that we can think and talk about rationally. And this also includes our memory, which is not always part of consciousness, but it can be retrieved easily and brought into awareness. And next slide is structure of personality. Number 1 is the ID. ID means instinct. So the ID is a part of the unconscious that contains all the urges and impulses, including what is called the libido, a kind of generalized sexual energy that is used for everything from survival instincts to appreciation of art. And number 2, the ego. Ego means reality. So the ego is the part of the ID which has been modified by the direct influence of the external world. The ego is the only part of the conscious personality. It's what the person is aware of when they think about themselves and is what they usually try to project towards others. And lastly, the superego. Superego means morality. The superego function is to control the ID's impulses, especially those which society forbids, such as sex and aggression. It also has the function of persuading the ego to turn to moralistic goals rather than simply realistic ones to strive for perfection. So next slide is the example of ID, ego, and superego. So the example of ID is I want to eat chocolate. And in ego is eat a small bar of chocolate. And last, in superego, is I am on a super diet. That's the example of ID, ego, and superego. So, I think you've now got a good understanding of psychoanalysis. The next part of Freudian Revolution will be discussed by Miss Maria Angelica Buntag. Thank you.